They say love your neighbor. I tried until loving everyone almost destroyed me. This is the story of Amara, the woman who thought kindness meant saying yes to everything until the week she finally drew the line. And how every no she spoke after that became a lifeline that saved her peace, her money, and her mind. Hi everyone, I'm Remilekun Idowu and welcome back to our storytelling corner where real life lessons meet suspense, reflection, and hope. To my returning family, thank you for always riding with me. And to my new viewers, you are in the right place. Before we dive in, tap subscribe, like, share, and comment. And check the playlist above your screen for powerful past stories you don't want to miss. Now, let's get into Amara's story. A story about boundaries, betrayal, and the courage to finally say enough. Amara grew up believing harmony was everything. She was taught to apologize first, to step aside on side works, to never let anyone feel uncomfortable, even if it cost her comfort. When she moved to a new city, those lessons followed. She became the friend who opened her door, the colleague who stayed late, the church member who never said no. Everyone loved her reliability. Nobody noticed her exhaustion, both emotionally and physically. She was always the go-to person for everyone, so much so that everyone around her seems to take it for granted that she was always present. There was a time a cousin called Amara to ask for help with his rent. Just a little help with rent is said over the phone. Without hesitation, she transferred the money, even though it meant pushing her own bills further out. It wasn't even the first time that her cousin came to her for financial help. At work, Amara was a superhero. Our manager often dumped deliverables at her without considering that she was overutilized. That was because she never voiced how overwhelmed she was, and she often worked a lot of overtime without complaining. She always delivered her work on time. And as usual, that same week she transferred money to her cousin, her boss dumped a half-done proposal on her desk. A deliverable that wasn't even ours to start with. Our boss said, "You're the only one I trust to finish this." And as usual, she stayed till midnight polishing work that wasn't even ours. By Friday of that same week, our house was no longer ours. A friend who needed just a few nights moved in, but ended up stretching the visit for about 2 months. Using our towels, bath for long hours, controlling the thermostats, eating and wasting food, even borrowing our car without replacing fuel. Amara felt emotionally and financially overwhelmed during our stay. She started to go into debt and mostly spent from her credit card just to make her friend comfortable. Whenever both our married and unmarried friends had a problem, they only thought of Amara. And they were right. She was always a phone call away. But the irony of it all is that she had nobody to call anytime she needed help. So one afternoon, Amara had saved a failing project at work, only to watch another colleague take full credit. She knew she had started to hit her breaking point. So after that meeting, Amara walked slowly to her car, drained and feeling invincible. Then her phone rang with another emergency and a new demand. She gripped the steering wheel, paws raising, and for the first time in her life, she said no. not with anger, but with a calm finality that startled even her. And she realized that the world didn't end and the sky didn't fall. Instead, she felt a quiet spark, a faint outline of her own life returning. Saying no once is easy. Living it daily is war. At work, an urgent task was pushed away again. The old Amara would have said yes. This time, she offered an alternative timeline that fit her capacity. The office was silent. Then, the task found another owner who wasn't even busy at all. At home, she set
Chika,
a deadline for a temporary guest to move out. The friend was quiet, guilt-tripping her, but Amara stood firm and her friend left. Amara's peace returned. Family was the hardest. Instead of endless emergency bailouts, she offered planned support within her budget only when she could spare extra. Some relatives started to call her selfish, but Amara knew the truth. Real love is not rescue, it is steadiness. Every no shook her, tagged her, but afterwards, she stood taller. The real test came with a crisis at work. A project failed, timelines exploded, and fingers pointed in every direction. Before, Amara would have sacrificed herself to fix it all. This time, she calmly clarified what she had agreed to, offered solution within her scope, took responsibility where she ought to, and refused the blame where she wasn't at fault. The project recovered, and for once, she wasn't crushed in the process. Then came the biggest temptation. An executive asked her to give nights and weekends to save a failing deal, promising recognition. She took a deep breath, then replied, "I can give you a short consult, but not my nights and not my weekends." To her surprise, the reply was simple. Okay, she realized something powerful. Boundaries don't break the world. They reveal who really respects you. Amara lost a few things. She lost a vision of herself who thought being agreeable was the only way to be loved. She lost a few friends who only valued her availability. But what she gained was life itself. Sleep that reached the deep end without the burden of carrying the world on her shoulder. A home that felt like ours again. A workplace where people finally carried their share and the ability to recognize herself in the mirror. Amara learned that boundaries are not barricades, they are shorelines. Just as ocean needs shore to protect towns from drowning, we need limits to protect our peace. Boundaries don't mean you love less, they mean you love wisely. And every no you say creates space for a stronger, freer yes. Amara's story is a reminder that if you keep saying yes to everything, you will slowly disappear. Boundaries are not selfish, they are survival. If the story touched you, subscribe, like, comment, and share. And tell me below, do you find it hard to say no? Here's my word for the week. Love is not slavery. Draw the line. Protect your peace and watch how much stronger your yes becomes. I am Remilekun Idowu. Stay wise, stay strong, and I'll see you next week Friday with another powerful story.